I can see you lah. I can see your face lah. You move there because I can see daddy there.
What are you doing?
Online!
Online me face at you lah. Why face at me?
I don't
Change
want.
the camera.
I don't want.
Ora lah. What kind of life is this? That's how you earn money.
1 hour, 21 minutes.
Come on lah.
Donald Trump live. Trump delivers urgent war message as Iran strikes back. U.S.-Iran war live. Daily blast probe bombshell. Needed to safe house. Full match. CNBJ
We're starting the bulletin with a quick breaking news. Coming in, this is related to the first decision which has been taken by the new Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Big breaking news coming in. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay has taken a big decision. He ordered the closure of 717 government-run hazmat liquor retail.
Skip inside. Sponsored. Skip. ILTV News Flash.
Welcome back to Wild TV on the hour. I'm Philippine David.
End of the month is Raya.
All of the latest developments
Oh, Raya Kumpan lah.
in the region and beyond.
End of the month. They can start cutting a lot of cows.
Issued one of his strongest warnings yet around, declaring that
Kill
he accept
What to do? That's the law. They must cut. Ask the Imam lah. Go ask the Prophet Muhammad lah. Oi.
Hey, I'm on live lah. Don't talk. I'm on live. Can hear you. YouTube, I'm on live. People listening you.
Funny thing you do like this. One way or the other.
Do better.
Concerns about economic impacts from the conflict, saying he is not focused on domestic cost pressures and emphasizing that national security takes priority. Here's President Trump.
You can see you lah. You naked lah. You. What is that son?
Frequency.
The New York Times article today citing secret U.S. intelligence assessments suggests that Iran's military is in fact far from defeated. According to those assessments, Iran still feels about 70% of its mobile structures, has maintained some 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile, and has access to 30 launching sites situated along the Strait of Hormuz. A new report suggests the regional war with Iran was far further than previously known. The Saudi Arabian report has carried out airstrikes inside Iran in response to Iranian attacks on the kingdom. Reuters reported that Saudi Arabia launched a series of covert airstrikes against Iran earlier this year, marking the first direct Saudi military action on Iranian soil. Some Western and Iranian officials. The report says
Oh,
carried
it's
out
sound.
by the Saudi
This one sound.
late March.
TV fan. Roaming.
The kingdom during the 4 days. Specific
High
targets of
frequency.
the Saudi strikes were not disclosed.
Happens like that lah.
Has
The
not
sound
officially confirmed the operations.
because of the phone, I think.
Follows claims that the United
Phone
Arab
limit.
Emirates also carried out secret strikes inside Iran during the war. The report suggests that both states, once reluctant to confront Iran directly, are now taking a much more aggressive role in regional security. The developments also highlight growing alliance between Israel, the U.S., and modern Arab
Take out all the
states
plastic in front.
against Iranian
Nice,
aggression,
can see all.
even as the current ceasefire remains. And let's turn now to Vienna and the Eurovision contest. Last night, despite loud anti-Israeli chants inside the arena, Israel's Noah Beckett advanced to the grand finale of the Eurovision Song Contest. Beckett performed his song Michelle.
Wala naman yata papasok, sir. Wala naman sila.
After the performance, Beckett said he heard the blues, but felt strengthened by support from pro-Israel fans. Beckett said, quote, I was just singing to
Nag-iiko.
Israel, adding that the support
Nag-iiko.
lifted him during the performance. Local reports say two activists who interrupted the broadcast were removed from the arena while security. The Mossad is reportedly aiding in providing security for the Israeli delegation. And that's a wrap for this edition of Aurora TV, broadcasting live from Israel and the heart of the Middle East. We
Next
have
in,
the hour
19.
with the latest breaking news, or of course you can go to our app, scan the QR code to your screen, or check us on various social media platforms. I'm Khaled Ben David. Thank you for watching.
Press up for in-video links. Skip and 5. Sponsor. Skip and 5. Skip. Button. End in 90 plus.
Ini program yang banyak diproses di atas. Contohnya, tengok. Hari jadi anda. Back to home surprise.
Okay, sir. Mute ko.
Flashback. Jangan cakap. Bercurah-curah. Ini ada sudah. Lagi curah ada tu. Lagi banyak pakai polis yang masuk. Bila naik pakai jadi lagi tak. Oh, lagi dah padu. Dapat naik. Cuma dan orang super fat. Yang bergambar orang jelas. Dan robot dapat hard VVIP untuk jumpa dengan selebriti. Macam selebriti. Rugi tak ada nanti super fat. Tapi tengok itu macam-macam. Daripada tadi. Boleh. So, tunggu apa lagi? Nah, semua ni jadi Maggi Super Fats sekarang. Sebab lebih tinggi dan lebih best.
Skip and 5.
Udah ring lah. Kita perlu dia.
Skip. Button. End in 90 plus.
What?
Ngomong tengah tak? Kita perlu dia udah ring. Ngomong tengah. Begitu ya. Udah ring. Kita perlu sah.
Hey, good day. We are coming in there with breaking news right now. Another major escalation in the Middle East. Air raid sirens sounding in Israel as the Iron Dome appears to intercept new strikes from Iran. Those strikes are in retaliation to Israel's massive attack on Iran overnight. When Israel targeted top Iranian military leaders and nuclear scientists, dozens of people were killed and hundreds more were injured for that attack just in the capital city of Tehran. And now this retaliation is raising tension in the Middle East. We've just gotten some new video that's coming to the newsroom here. You can see some of the Iron Dome over Tel Aviv in action here. We understand these are some of those missiles being fired from Iran and intercepted in Tel Aviv. But we also have other videos that shows something, maybe drones or missiles, some type of something falling from the sky and exploding over Israel and landing. Clouds of black smoke in parts of Tel Aviv tonight as well. We can roll that video at some point that we've gotten to the newsroom as well. You see it right here. These are the kind of images that they don't want to see in Tel Aviv. Possibly, again, drones or missiles, something getting off that Iron Dome, fires, and that smoke. Here's some
Quiet lah.
for us. He's
Wait.
declaring everything that's happened
I'm live.
since Israel
This is my house, right? What
that
is it?
preemptive attack first on Tehran and Iran last night. Here, what do you know about what's happening
Wait,
right now?
house.
Well, Tom, we've heard the sirens across Tel Aviv. You can see the picture for yourself. That smoke rising above that Israeli city, and there are fears in Tel Aviv, looking at these images from people on the ground, that there may be some missiles that have struck somewhere in Israel. In the past, when Iran has launched strikes like this, its missiles have landed, but not landed anywhere to do any substantial damage. I will tell you, Tom, that I'm told by an Israeli military official that dozens of Iranian ballistic missiles, and this was that person talking with a text message a short time ago, that dozens of Iranian ballistic missiles are en route to Israel, and that the people of Israel have been instructed to remain in bomb shelters until a further notice. We saw one dramatic moment, Tom, when a briefing by the Israel Defense Forces was cut short. The briefer was talking about an Israeli strike on Iran, and then paused, and then you heard the alarm, and then the feed simply cut, and that was the first indication we had that there was the threat of incoming Iranian ballistics on central Israel, and that is what we're seeing now. That threat. The question, of course, now tonight here is: has any of those Iranian munitions struck, or have they all been intercepted by Israel's very capable Iron Dome system?
It is 9:24 right now in Israel. The Iron Dome, which I've seen up close here, I know you have as well, essentially works on a radar system. It sees these incoming missiles, these incoming drones, and then essentially rocket launchers that are in hidden parts throughout Israel shoot off and intercept those missiles or drones. The problem is it can be overwhelmed. That's possibly what happened here tonight. As you mentioned, dozens of ballistic missiles. The system can get overwhelmed at times. It has an incredible rate of efficiency, but again, at times bombs and missiles and drones can get through it. And here, I don't know if you have returned, you can see these images. It looks like that smoke is pouring out from downtown Tel Aviv, where people live, where people work. Again, it's 9:24 p.m., but you can see the lights on in those buildings there. Right now, the sirens we know throughout Tel Aviv have been going off, alerting people to get to bomb shelters. And this, of course, here follows what happened last night, that surprise attack. A lot of people have been talking about it, but Israel going ahead, the U.S. saying they had nothing to do with that attack. The president saying but this was all Israel.
Check it out,
and Israel saying they did not want to wait. They felt that Iran was
check the one. What is that? Check this one.
One check again.
Command of Iran. What do we know about those attacks here and the people that were killed on the Iranian side?
Well, just as we've seen that, we're seeing that smoke now in real time in Tel Aviv, Tom. We've seen smoke rising above key facilities through the day, not least in the Tanz nuclear facility, where we saw thick black smoke in the early hours of this morning. But Israel saying that it didn't simply target Iran's nuclear capability, but also took aim at its military leadership, saying that it had killed a number of key military leaders in Iran. For example,
first prize
chief was saying
first prize.
Other commanders too.
8-4-1. 7-4-1.
Studying details of what
Where's the place?
an intelligence-led operation, much from like that pager bomb operation against Hezbollah that captivated the world. Honestly, the Israelis Israeli officials saying that they became aware of a meeting of
Car number lang. 842.
in a bunker, and that was an opportunity to strike.
Oh, 841. Oh, where by 741?
As well, Israel says of its concern that Iran was getting close to being able to be nuclear capable, a nuclear weapon. Now, of course, the Trump administration, you mentioned it, Tom, the Trump administration was set for more talks with Iran on Sunday. There was still hope, according to President Trump, for negotiation, but now, overnight, these strikes, which, according to the Israelis, hit dozens of targets in different areas of Iran, and then this morning, we saw the first signs of Iran responding the way you're seeing now in Tel Aviv. There are 100 drones targeted towards Israel. Israel saying it managed to stop those,
It looks like there's some help from Arab neighbors like Jordan that far away will be causing other concerns in this region where I am, in the Gulf.
Good evening, Ma'am Kulat.
Now the question again is, how capable is Iran? It is believed to have some formidable armory. Is it now utilizing that? Or has Israel, because it shows pictures of it taking out the Iranian defenses,
Wala pa sila.
effectively defang Iran enough that it will be safe from reprisal, even if we are seeing potentially some Iranian munitions get through.
Thank you sa patamsak.
Yeah, the IDF just put out a statement on the readers for viewers who supposes the Israel Defense Forces. They're saying defense systems are operating to intercept the threat. The public is expected to enter a protected space and remain there until further notice. You can see the smoke clouds of Tel Aviv tonight. They're saying these were missiles fired from Iran in retaliation for that Israeli strike. When we look at the pictures from Tehran, again, this is Israel tonight. This is the Iron Dome in action here. But as we've explained, the Iron Dome at times can become overwhelmed if there are too many missiles, too many drones trying to come at the same time and not hit the same target. And some missiles, some bombs can get through. It looks like, it appears from the images we're seeing tonight, that has happened in Israel right now. It is unclear if anyone is hurt. It is unclear if anyone is dead in Israel. We know that there were more than 200 targets in Iran last night. And when you look at the pictures of Iran, you can see just the precision of some of those strikes. They were at buildings because they were targeting Iranian leadership, Iranian nuclear scientists, and also nuclear sites. When we talk about nuclear sites, a lot of these labs, a lot of the work is done underground, sometimes half a mile. Bombs came and reached them at times. Israel saying that they felt this was a successful strike. The President Trump echoing that as well. I know Richard Engel is on the phone. As we get to Richard, I also want to ask our control to put that map for us, because I want to show our viewers here. Iran and Israel are so far from each other. You see it right here. We are not going to be talking about if this escalates into any type of ground war, at least at this point. This is a war of missiles. This is a war of drones. And you can see the various countries that are in between Israel and Iran. It's an incredibly complicated situation now. Richard Engel has just come back from Iran. Richard, talk to us about some of your reporting when you were there. You were actually talking to some of the people that targeted in these attacks last night.
So to join you, this is an extraordinary development. Yeah, I was just in Iran twice. Two separate figures invited by the Iranian government. The Iranian government made it clear to me as the many people of Iran that they did not want to see this military action. They were committed to keep soft with the Trump administration. They had their hopes on reaching some sort of peace agreement. In fact, the Iranians were about to prepare this week a responsibility to present to President Trump's envoy Witkoff on Sunday with a counter proposal. And now Iranian government officials are feeling betrayed. They're feeling angry. They're feeling that President Trump played it. That his whole initiated effort was some sort of ruse to get them
And then just
their guard down. And one of the series top officials, an advisor to the Supreme Leader, who told me that they were committed to the talk, that they're willing to make compromises. Some of these not popular on the streets of Iran. He is considered a hardliner. He is considered someone who's been behind a lot of the crackdown of voting rights, crackdown on civil society there. He himself was he told me a while ago, while I was in Iran, that he believed that the biggest threat to the negotiations was Prime Minister Netanyahu, that the Israelis were trying to undermine the negotiations before they took place. Now we're seeing this response from Iran, according to our producer in Tehran, just the start. Iran said that he was launching hundreds of ballistic missiles, so trying to overwhelm the Israelis, which includes Iron Dome and which includes several other types of defense systems that can interpret ballistic missiles and other objects that fly at great speed and at high altitude. So I think all of the weapon systems that Israel has are going to be utilized. And in the past, Israel, a lot of the attacks Israel once and Israel with Israel. And if that number of missiles was on its way to Israel as the Iranian plan, it seems very likely that the Americans are going to be involved once again. And the Iranians shift over the U.S. platform.
Stand by for us. If we could re-rack that video we were just seeing, because it sort of showed how the Iron Dome is working right now in the skies over Tel Aviv. If we go back to the top of that video, you see something coming in right here, and you can see it sort of exploding in the sky. You see two sort of short blasts. That is essentially the missile that is intercepting whatever's incoming from Iran to Israel. It stops it in the air to prevent it from obviously hitting him on the ground. And it breaks it up into so many pieces. And you'll see it right now. It breaks up into so many pieces that it keeps the people in Israel safe, even though they've been working to the bomb shelters. Richard, I do want to point out here, because Tehran, Iran's official state news agency, this is coming out of Tehran, I should say, one of our producers there, has just put out a statement saying the hard retaliation operation has begun. Iran has launched a powerful and decisive response to the Zionist regime's recent brutal attack. I do want to point out something out. This is the video right here where you can see sort of the Iron Dome.
Amles, good evening.
In real time, you can see the kind of sort of fall.
Dalawa pa lang kayo ni Ma'am Kulak.
You see the intersections right there, those big flashes happening. Richard, what's different from this attack and the other attack is that both Israel and Iran were sort of attacking on the outskirts, if you will. But these attacks, the attack last night and the attack happening right now, are happening at population centers. On top of that, I will remind you, Richard, the language coming out of Iran.
Dalawa pa lang kayo ni Ma'am Kulak.
Essentially saying it is over, right? I even think they use that kind of language there. I'm paraphrasing, but they use some kind of phrase saying either it's over or it's ended. Essentially saying it's a back and forth, it's over, we're going to move on now. Richard, this feels much different tonight.
This is much different, and what caused it is much different.
Ma'am Kulat, sali ka ba? Kahit tatlo pa lang tayo, pwede na yun.
Israel was not that long ago, and now it's being commonplace. The first time is after Israel attacked a diplomatic compound of Iran, a diplomatic village in Syria, and killed several.
Good evening, Ma'am Les. Ma'am Kulat, nandiyan ka pa? Kahit tatlo lang tayo, pwede na yun.
Almost designed to fail. They told the Israelis that the attack was coming. They launched a drone. We showed the map. We showed how far those drones could be deployed. Ample time for their defenses to get ready to shoot them down. They had to cross over several countries. Most of the drones never even made it to Israel. Then Iran started firing ballistic missiles. Also told the world where they were coming, when they would be coming. The next response to the Iran carried out the next sort of attacks against Israel was after Israel assassinated the leader of Hezbollah. That was a war because killed Iran, one of Iran's main military allies in the Middle East, and they needed to up the response. What is happening now is Iran's response to what it means to a full-blown act of war. That its nuclear facilities were attacked. Prime Minister Netanyahu was promising a open campaign that would last days or weeks. They also took out several of the top military leaders in the country, including Revolutionary Guard leaders. They targeted them in their homes, in their residences in Iran, and in other military compounds. They targeted the person that I was just talking about, that I interviewed in Iran, who was one of the senior advisors to the same leader. So ultimately, the leadership to that attack, and now they're responding as if this was a full-blown war launched under the guise of U.S.-led negotiations. So when Iranians in the government feel they were betrayed and they need to respond.
Richard, stand by for us because we're watching some new videos just coming into the newsroom. We're still seeing Israel's Iron Dome. That's essentially the air defense system over the country that protects it from incoming missiles from enemy nations. Tonight, it is trying to protect the people of Israel from the attack, the retaliatory strikes from Iran. You can see a missile right there. It got through the Iron Dome, it looks like, getting dangerously close to the ground into buildings there. Because when the system gets overwhelmed, some missiles, some drones can get into Tel Aviv. We've been seeing those plumes of smoke, so we know that there's some damage. Matt Bradley, our correspondent in Tel Aviv tonight, is going to join us live right now. Matt, first off, tell our viewers where you're reporting from. Are you in a safe spot and what's happening over your head tonight?
That's right, Tom. We're in a safe room, which is required in almost every building in Israel, and there's public safe rooms all throughout the country. They are being put to good use tonight as we're seeing this massive influx of missiles, which are ongoing. We saw that first wave, the IDF texting me and saying that they're going to be seeing another wave, dozens of missiles. The Iranians are calling it the hard retaliation operation. So far, we've been hearing from even inside the safe room, outgoing missiles. We've been hearing impacts. In fact, we just opened the door, we could smell debris and dust coming from outside. It is just all over the city right now. I understand from emergency services that 7 people have been wounded, and that 7 sites were struck all around the city here in Tel Aviv. Now, if you remember last time back in October, there was another major attack, and it looked as though there was a lot of damage, a lot of strikes that actually made impact, and it was overwhelming Israel's formidable missile defense system. We don't know whether this will be the same. These are ballistic missiles that the Iranians say they're launching. They say hundreds of them. Now, as I said, we've also been hearing quite a bit of outgoing missiles, striking these incoming missiles. We've been hearing that basically last night, and just now, we're hearing a lot of debris.
Yeah.
Everybody's hunkered down. It really is a terrifying thing.
Yeah, and it's not just Tel Aviv, it's also Jerusalem as well. We're seeing video of the Iron Dome in action over eastern Jerusalem. Matt, I do want you to explain to our viewers why Iran is targeting Tel Aviv. Some of the key government buildings, leadership is there in Tel Aviv, really the center of Israel in a lot of ways, in how the country operates. Do we have any idea what was targeted yet? Is it too early?
Well, actually, we don't. And in fact, the IDF has said and called upon the public not to share those sites, the locations that have been targeted. They're saying that could allow the Iranians, to aim better, to strike with more accuracy if they suddenly see people on social media describing what they've seen, describing the impacts. So if we did know, I also wouldn't really be able to tell you. But the fact is that you're right. Tel Aviv is the beating heart of the government here, the Ministry of Defense. Everything is focused here, intelligence agencies. Jerusalem is the capital as far as the Israelis are concerned. That's very controversial, of course, and the subject of much dispute. But here in Tel Aviv, major office buildings, the vast majority of embassies, this is where the Iranians would want to strike. And as far as the Iranians are concerned, they don't necessarily see a civilian target as a civilian target and something to be avoided. This is occupied Palestine, and that's what they've been saying in their social media. So to them, this whole country might be a target. We're still seeing this evolve. We don't know what the damage looks like outside. But now we're hearing once again, Tom, that air raid siren coming in. That second wave of missiles, it sounds like, have just broken into the airspace, and we're probably going to start to hear them making impact and probably start to hear them being intercepted. You can hear that now.
Yeah, Matt, tell our viewers what exactly is happening right now. What's that noise we just heard?
So you can hear it outside. This is the air raid siren for all of Tel Aviv, and we also are going to be getting it on our phone. The Israelis have an app here that tells which regions are going to be subject to these air raid sirens. And right now, it looks as though it's much of Tel Aviv, much of Jerusalem, as you mentioned, military sites and civilian areas throughout the country. I can't tell you a lot about what's going on. I think we're about to see, here we go. In about 1.5 minutes, they say that we're going to be seeing the impacts of this latest round of incoming missiles.
And I want to remind our viewers,
they know the trajectory.
Yeah, I want to remind our viewers, we're watching this in real time live. We're watching this live. These are the missiles coming in from Iran right now, and the Iron Dome in action. Matt Bradley, who's there in Tel Aviv in a safe bunker, is reporting to us now that Israel has notified its people, especially in Tel Aviv, that an onslaught of missiles is about a minute away. Matt, you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, so we're about to see what looks like the second wave so far of this Iranian retaliation. They said that was about 1.5 minutes ago. It probably is going to be less than a minute at this point when we're going to start hearing impacts, hearing outgoing, which is what we heard just a moment ago, hearing interceptions. So this is something we're probably going to be hearing. We don't know how long this is going to be taking, but it looks as though this retaliation has very much begun in a very muscular way, using, according to the Iranians, ballistic missiles. The Israelis, in their initial strike overnight, they were careful to hit a lot of those ballistic missile sites. according to Israeli media, they even had Mossad intelligence agents around in Israel painting those targets, showing them, showing the Israeli military and the Israeli Air Force where to strike in order to knock those out. It looks as though the Iranians still have some capability. What we're seeing right now, Tom, is very interesting as well as terrifying. This really an exposition of just what kind of capabilities the Iranians have left after that very thorough set of attacks that happened all night long. This has been an open question all day. How will Iran retaliate, and whether or not it even has the power to retaliate, given that the top echelon of its military has been taken out, given that much of its, again, air defense capabilities and its offensive capabilities, these ballistic missiles have been taken out. A lot of its nuclear sites have been completely destroyed. So now we're getting a real taste of just what impact those Israeli strikes had and what the Iranians are going to be capable of.
And that, as you were reporting, Iran has now put it out, but we've known this from your report about a minute ago. They're now saying a second wave of 200 ballistic missiles has been fired. They're sort of telegraphing some of the moves here, which is somewhat interesting, and it can also speaks to the temperature and maybe how far they want to escalate this. If you're watching our coverage right now, we are covering live right now. Israel is under attack. These are the retaliatory strikes from Iran after Israel launched their attack last night on Tehran at various nuclear sites and the chain of command in Iran. Israel has been struck. It is unclear what's been hit. Earlier in the night, we were seeing plumes of smoke. The Iron Dome, which is the air defense system for Israel, is operating, but it has been bombarded with missiles and possibly drones. And if it gets overwhelmed, some missiles can come through. If you're watching the screen right now, you can see things falling out of the sky. If they're not coming down at a rapid pace, that is the Iron Dome that has intercepted missiles and some of the debris is coming down. If you see from the ground up missiles coming up, that is the Iron Dome that's intercepting those missiles. You can see the explosions there moments ago. That means that the missile from Israel has intercepted whatever's coming from Iran. But you can see how much action is happening right now in the skies over Tel Aviv. Look at all those. I mean, those are both missiles coming from Israel to intercept them. But like we said, 200 ballistic missiles coming in from Iran. It looks like that one right there got through. It hits the ground and obviously explodes, or it hits the target and there's an explosion. Matt Bradley, rightly so, reported how Israel does not want any information out about what has been struck, because we have to understand they are under attack right now, right? This is the middle of combat right now. They're going to be very careful on what they release. Their main concern right now is protecting the people of Israel, making sure its citizens know what's happening right now, and of course, playing the next step back, which you think will likely be what from Israel?
Well, we don't know exactly. I mean, the next step that I just want to tell you, I just got a message from the IDF saying that those explosions are from interceptions or fallen projectiles. Now, obviously, from where we're sitting, I can't tell whether this is an interception or whether that's an actual impact of a full ballistic missile. Now, the Israelis are